Happy to do that. Look, thank you for coming along today. As you all know, there's been another death on our roads, and it's totally unacceptable. To be at 105 at this time of year is devastating. But what we're here to talk about today is the fact that, in the past, often we've talked about the road toll, and we think that's something that should be removed from our vocabulary. We should talk about what's really happening, and that is lives are being lost. So going forward from today, that's what we'll talk about. We'll talk about lives lost, because that's what people need to be aware of. That's what people need to know happens when there's a fatality on our roads. Lives are lost, families are impacted, parents, siblings, loved ones, wives, husbands, brothers and sisters don't come home when there's a death on our roads. So we're going to make sure that we get that vernacular into the way we speak about what happens on our roads, because we think it's a strong message and it's a message people must understand. In the past, when we've talked about road toll, people just think of it as a number, and it's not a number. These are lives that are lost on our roads. These are South Australians that won't be at their local sporting club next year. They won't be at their local school. They won't be in their local community doing volunteer work. And that's the reality of what we have before us. So again, to have the number where it sits, to have 105 lives lost on our road is totally unacceptable. Now, we're doing everything we can to make sure that we're making our roads as safe as possible. As a government, we're investing in improving our road infrastructure. We know how important that is to make our roads as safe as possible. We're putting more than $1 billion into our regional roads and $700 million into metro roads to upgrade them. We're running a number of advertising campaigns, and police have taken that over because they're the ones that are on the scene and they see firsthand what happens on our roads. So the messaging that they're delivering is very much pointed at the issues that are confronting us on our road network. And then police are out there doing their job as well, making sure that they are pulling people over and arresting people that are doing the wrong thing. And we make no apologies for that. If you're doing the wrong thing on the roads, police will arrest you. So again, I reiterate that point and drive the message very strongly and ask the media and everyone else to engage with us in this and talk about lives lost on our road. Let's not sugarcoat it anymore. That's what it is, and we need to confront that reality because people and families are impacted accordingly. Happy to take questions, or happy to hand over to Bob to say a few words as well. Would you like to hear from Bob?
As the Minister has said, the Commissioner of Police and the Minister are very strong on the fact that we need to change our language, we need to get better outcomes. And again, to reiterate what the Minister says, the term toll indicates that you pay a price for using our road network, and that shouldn't be the case. And it dehumanises the tragic cost that's associated with people that lose their lives on our roads. So we would be asking that you get on board and you use that terminology and you help us in changing the behaviour of the public in South Australia to get better road safety outcomes.
So using lives lost as a part of a new campaign?
That will be the platform that South Australia Police will go forward with from now on. So it'll commence today, and by the 1st of January, all our media, all our marketing, everything that we do will talk about lives lost. We'll no longer be talking about the road toll. Because we want people to relate to the fact that it's not just a number, that there's a human and a backstory behind every person that loses their lives on South Australian roads. And as the Minister said, it has tragic consequences for family, friends, loved ones, colleagues, and quite often it devastates communities. And quite often, families never recover from losing a loved one on the roads.
What do you make of the number, 105?
Well, clearly it's very disappointing. But I'd be disappointed, realistically, every life we lose, I'm disappointed at. Last year we'd lost 80 people on our roads. That was a disappointing result as far as South Australia Police are concerned.
Bob, quite a gruesome crash this morning in Port Adelaide. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened with the cyclist there?
I can tell you that a B-double truck was travelling in an easterly direction on the Port River Expressway. I can tell you that vehicle then turned left. Unfortunately, the trailer then collided with the cyclist who wasn't seen by the driver, and a 59-year-old man from Kingswood lost his life. As a result of that, recently the 32-year-old truck driver has been arrested for serious criminal charges.
Is it just that simple? He didn't see him? Is that how you guys understand it all unfolded?
That's what it appears at this point in time.
Speed a factor or anything like that?
I don't have that level of detail. In addition to changing the terminology today, I'd just like to tell you that on the 14th of December, South Australian Police started our annual holiday campaign, so Safe Holidays. That will be a highly visible statewide coordinated campaign where we will have our assets where they need to be, when they need to be there, to try and make sure that we get good road safety outcomes and people have a safe festive season.
Why are so many people dying on the roads?
Look, I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that people don't believe it will happen to them. You're speaking to people that are impacted. Unfortunately, that's the recurring theme that I hear, that until it was relevant to them, they never thought about it. They simply thought about it as a number and moved on, and hence the reason we're trying to change that behaviour. I think the other thing is complacency has played a major part in the bad outcome that we've had this year. People are complacent and they need to understand that driving a car is a complex task, and they need to give that level of concentration to driving that vehicle.
Is there going to be something similar done for serious injuries? I think we've seen more this year than previous years. It's generally gone up again this year. We talk about serious injuries and the long-lasting effects that they have on people. Is there going to be something done towards that toll of 600 or 700 a year?
Well, clearly we're working in the road safety space very strongly, not just from an enforcement perspective, but we are a significant educator in road safety. Last year we delivered over 1,100 sessions to an age demographic between 4 and 90 years of age to over 80,000 people. So we're very much in the prevention space as well as the enforcement space. But as the Minister said, if you choose to do the wrong thing on our roads, particularly if you're committing offences against the Fatal Five, you need to expect there's going to be severe action taken against you, because based on evidence we know that that's what's killing people and seriously injuring people on our roads.
This truck driver's been charged with very serious charges. Are you just putting it down to inattentive driving?
Well, at this point in time it appears that he's driven in a manner that's caused the death unnecessarily of the cyclist.
Just on that cyclist, obviously no good time to lose lives on the road. This must be a particularly bad time, just a few days from Christmas.
Look, as the Minister said, it's particularly disappointing because there's another South Australian that's not going to be sitting at the table on Christmas Day.
And this cyclist did nothing wrong?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
We had the truck driving industry 2 days ago sort of warning motorists to be more aware. Do you think that needs to be flip side as well for truck drivers?
Look, it needs to be for all road users. Every road user needs to take responsibility for their actions behind the wheel and be responsible. Doesn't matter whether you're walking on the road, riding on the road, driving a truck or a car or a motorbike. You need to take responsibility, because the South Australian Police and the South Australian Government can't resolve the current situation. It needs to be buy-in from the community. We all need to change the behaviour and change the outcomes.
Minister, could I just ask you something?
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone else did.
Oh, I just had one question.
Oh, yeah, go,
Sorry.
Bob, yeah.
How would you describe the actions of that Porsche driver, the Barossa man who's lost his licence for 6 months, going 187 in the 110 zone?
I'd describe his actions as extremely selfish and stupid. Clearly travelling at that speed on that section of road in the dark, he created a massive problem not only for himself potentially, but for an innocent road user using that road, who may have been impacted through no fault of their own.
It's almost a $2,000 fine, a bit of a wake-up call to everyone else that it's no place to test out.
Well, unfortunately, we've had 2 high speeds on that section of road within 24 hours. We had another person travelling at 48 kilometres over the speed limit, and that person also was fined in excess of $1,700 and lost their licence for a period of 6 months immediately.
It's just so dangerous.
It is very dangerous.